Hey guys, welcome back to the Slice&Dice Podcast. I'm Jono.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Phil.
Psych! We came back with another one. I blundered on the last episode at the very end, saying that we wouldn't see one or do one before the festive season and coming into the new year. So yeah, we've got around the table quickly. We had this planned anyway, but I stupidly said at the end of the last one that we weren't going to do it again.
Well, the poetic thing is that you made the blunder, but out of the three of us, you were the only one that remembered we were doing this podcast. and you always are the one that needs reminding that you remembered this one.
I mean, I was on it. I was like straight in the calendar when we decided.
Yeah, I love that.
So
we've now got it recorded evidence that Jono uses a calendar.
Yeah, no, it's a first. Let's call that 2025 New Year's resolution. That is a promise I'll use a calendar for the rest of the year.
Yes.
We'll see how long that lasts. New Year's resolutions don't hold out most of the time. So, hope everyone's well. We have had a very busy month. I think we say this normally every month, don't we? But yeah,
a lot. Live in the card world.
Live in the card world. It's busy times. Worlds. Yeah, that was a thing. Mm-hmm. Cactimania on the same weekend was a thing.
Yes.
And not to sort of like dampen everything down, but go Sam!
Let's go.
John Cena theme playing.
He's got the belt. He's come home with the belt.
Oh, I was so happy to win that. It was so good. 2 days of dopamine. I was like, I couldn't sleep for more than 6 hours because I was so happy. Wake up in like the card brain. Yeah.
The amount of adrenaline I was watching and I had adrenaline going, come on, Sam. I can't imagine you sat at the table.
I didn't exactly make it easy, did I? The last game was...
Oh my gosh. Everyone's hearts in their fucking throats. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Jesus.
I'm kind of glad that we were both in our first big grand final for the opponent. That meant we were both creating insane amounts of drama with our panic.
Yeah, bless you guys. I mean, yeah, massive congrats, Sam. It's like
thank you.
Something that you've been sort of wanting. We've been talking about forever. Going, if only.
Yeah.
We win something.
I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, I don't win events. What the fuck is happening?
But this one you had to like hold up a belt and everything.
I
didn't know what to do with my face.
There was no just standing there accepting prizes. There's celebrations to be had. It's like absolute.
It was so nice. It was so nice.
But you lay down that like really aggressive wrestling talk and be like, yes, you were all bad at the game. This was natural.
It would have been so forced. It's like I'm not a natural at that kind of thing. I just tried to do the poses,
You all just got frosted.
Oh yeah. That is the hilarious thing is that obviously. Cactuars put up their post for Cactimania and they actually put your name down on their
called
posts.
me out. Apparently I delivered. What?
Score. And I love that, it's almost poetry, really. I think it's almost like humbling for me as well, because I'm going, I've got someone like locally that's done like a really good thing and makes me need to step up my game, and it's one of those. Mm-hmm.
Cool. I hope I motivate you in a good way. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, no, negatively. I'm just going to come and thrash your face. Come on, attack mode.
Just slap it.
Yeah. What are you doing, Sam?
Stop being good at things.
Stop being good. I'll leave you left behind. Yeah, no, it's never that. But we've had some very busy times, and obviously Phil and I have tried to. Reach out to another community. Well, no, they've reached out to us effectively, or should I say, they spread a post and you jumped on it.
So Pendulum Gaming in Grantham. I think they're a relatively new store, but they put out somebody in their community put out a post on the UK group saying, "Hey, looking for some help." It was Lyndon that spotted it.
Nice.
Then Lyndon either DM'd me or put it in the group. And then I just put on a comment straight away, I want to do this, and it was fine. And then from then on, we had the three of us, and then Kinney, who turned up.
Yeah.
So it was just a nice little organic they needed someone to help demo, and it's a bit like when you used to work for like a tournament center or whatever, and they'd literally say, hey, we want to send you on our behalf, but this time we just did it because we wanted to.
Yeah. No, it's
they're pretty chill.
It's a nice thing as well because it's just on that the cusp of Nottinghamshire as well, so it was just like it's easily accessible.
It was like about 45 minutes, and there's tons of free parking. Like literally the whole with Grantham city centre is like free parking.
It's a nice little shop as well. Yeah, nice little shop because it's not there's not heaving, but also it's real like intimate. It's really nice.
A pizzeria next door.
Yeah.
Not vegan pizza though. Sorry, Jono. One for you.
No, it's fine. As I say, don't expect these things wherever I go. But you know. Unfortunately, I went hungry, so it was not good looking at pizza, which I can't eat in front of me, going. It's like, but
Grantham's not very big, is it?
Either way,
probably not a lot of vegan options.
No, McDonald's helped on the way out.
Oh, nice. Get a book plan.
Yeah,
Pendulum Gaming have got another Final Fantasy event on the 29th of December. The podcast should be out by then, so if anyone's in the area, they're just doing another play. I think they've asked if we'll go back, and I think we've just said we don't know, so they're not really basing it around any one particular.
Yeah, awesome. It's very difficult when it comes to New Year's and Christmas and stuff like that. It's just busy.
I get the feeling we're going to like surge the game a little bit in January because we've got a few new potential fresh faces in Dice Cup as well.
Definitely. Yeah, oh nice.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Do I know of these new?
Well, you know the build and play events and like.
Yeah, because they
Gavin Carolina.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No, there's been some good names been pulled along to play. So we were just going to kind of go through things and discuss really what we've seen and what we've done. So going to Worlds, I suppose.
It was so exciting. I loved watching Worlds.
If I don't know if they listen to this, but congrats, Hara you, is it?
Yeah, we have a new world champion.
Yeah, it's going to see them on some
nice to see
promo cards.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Did he pick his card yet?
I have no idea.
No, not yet.
I think they normally release.
Because Kinney said something about multi-element garnet. So
that's the card that he wants. But that's really nice.
But he said it in such a way that he said it as if Hara picked it.
Oh, okay.
So, but I don't know. I guess we don't go into it if we don't know.
No.
But yeah, oh my god, exciting player on exciting decks. Really amazed and like nice to not have EU in it in some ways, even though as much as we support EU.
And we had like more representation.
To be honest, we had Alex Hancock's obviously two world champion, and Sasha Stark, which was really nice because that's a big thing for him. To be fair,
I'd love to see Sasha at Worlds.
I've watched him go through so many different tournaments, and he's got to top cut, he's got to all these things, but to make it in Worlds, massive props to him, I think.
Yeah. Well, we had JFB and Michael Milmot, who both got knocked out in first stage, but still. Did JFB get knocked out in first stage?
It was it was still, nice for them. They get really nice prizing. They get the 2 wall cards. Was it gold signature and white signature?
Yeah, I mean,
you can see Michael's he did like a daily thing in the chat that we're in, just going, this is where I went today, and this is what we did, and this is what Square Enix did. And
I would have liked to watch those. Yeah.
It was we did just pictures, and one of them was just look at this the best ramen that I've ever had that cost 3p and a sneeze, and you're just like. Japan and ramen is just ridiculous.
It's perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, I kind of want to aim for Worlds, but it's another level, isn't it?
Just so you can have your 3p and a sneeze.
That's basically it. I remember because ramen is so good. I went to Wagamama's. Sorry, I'm sidetracking, but I went to Wagamama's and they've changed the recipe. And it pisses me off that their ramen broth is just completely gone currified, and it's very much it was not.
I think
fun.
Isn't that one kind, right? Or do they not have their normal kind anymore?
No, they don't have the normal broth that they have. It's kind of gone. What the one that I had was very much like katsu curry water, and it was just what is this? Anyway, sorry, I my mind was on the food. I'm still.
Yeah, you've got a Materia Hunter open here, and look at those colours. Look at the range of decks.
What are we looking at? So, I don't think it breaks it down, but obviously top card to be played in this whole game was Amaterasu.
Nothing's changed.
From what I saw, it's mostly there's a lot of fire. And then I'd say second to that is water and ice, because you've got a couple of you've got knights.
5, 6.
You've got knights. You've then got the fire water prime. You sort of fire ice prime decks. You've then got the fire water monster box decks. And the thing I'm trying to remember is I've had a comment recently. This is good for us all to think. is that people like listening to the podcast, but actually it's good to try and remember not everyone is an expert / new, so we can explain some things, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, Four Wall got so much representation, which was really confusing to me because last set Mono Earth seemed to be the thing to do Four Wall with, and there's like one Mono Earth.
The others,
Top. What's that?
So that's the Chinese player that played Hashmal.
So
biggest brain tech.
So you.
I did enjoy that.
And then obviously the other ways of playing Four Wall was Refugee Control.
Yes.
Yeah, which is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
it's cool to see that come back, and I do wonder how much that's to do with the new LB Warrior of Light.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's like, you can't touch my Warriors of Light with abilities. It's kind of huge in a lot of matchups.
But I think we saw a lot of fire at Worlds purely because of Clive. Like it's just the meme now that Clive and Ifra are just such a warping card. I was speaking about this with in the Warriors pack. In say Fire Water Warriors, you normally play the Demon.
Yeah.
And I feel like in this format, the Demon isn't required. There's not as much need for board wipes, and you know just getting a damage off and a 10k swing or a discard or a draw 2 is huge. So if you pull any Legend Clive in your or Ifrit in your packs, you're winning at like.
It's a Clive meta, Clive Ifrit meta.
I did. I opened. I was lucky. Lucky. I jumped on Sam quickly to snag his prizing with the Opus 24 box, and obviously I cracked all those packs quickly and got a foil Clive. So it's real hard to find, and that you had to go to the effort to get it. You know.
Before we go into like Worlds more properly, the thing for like our newer listeners is so if we go to like if you're on Materia Hunter or FFX, and we'll put down at least a link for you so you can see the top 8 lists for Worlds. You'll notice there are actually like 16 decks. So for like first place, it shows Harrow Y, and it shows it twice with 2 different decks. That's because it's what's known as a 2-deck format. So would anyone like to explain what a 2-deck format is? Like, how does that play out? Either of you want to take that mantle?
So I mean, I'll let you go with that, Sam, because you played it. But I mean, we've all played it, but I mean, you've done it within a tournament at some point.
So you go in with 2 decks, and it's the best. It's you need to win on both decks to proceed. Against your opponents, you both blind pick your first deck.
Oh, it's blind pick. That's why I wasn't sure on it.
So there's a sort of mini strategy with your deck picks at the beginning of the game, which can create a really deep strategy that I definitely don't have my head around at this point. Something I need to think about more. But it's really interesting because you can cover your range of matchups through your 2 decks.
Correct.
So you're like, okay, I lost the first one, but my other deck definitely beats the deck he's on.
And then that goes to the point that if you win your first game, you have to stay on the deck that you have to swap the deck. So if you win your first one, you automatically have to swap decks. The loser can pick either.
Which is good because it means when you've lost your first game, you know what the deck they were on was, so you kind of counter pick whatever their other deck will be because it will likely be very different.
Yeah.
And you can't in deck building wise, your 2 decks can't share cards, so you see a little bit more diversity of Worlds, which is nice. So even though these are all like Worlds winning lists, and yes, they're very, very good, it might be in a 1-deck format. There are decks that are actually like better or worse or whatever. So
and I think that's why you didn't see much Mono Water.
There's one Mono Water deck.
Sasha,
because if you pick Mono Water, you want your Leo and your Tidus in Mono Water.
Well, Fujikawa is also playing Mono Water, but he's got some really weird techs in there. So
he's playing Waltz 7 Mono Water.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So and just to kind of bring it to the point of when you are choosing when you have to swap decks. Sorry, back. I'm getting all confused. When we're talking about cards, same card names in can't have the same card in the same deck. That is if you had just like, even if one card was, say, Wall, for example, 7 Wall. I know you won't have that, but do you know what I mean? You can't then have the other 2 in the other deck.
Yeah, you can't split the playset of that serial number. Yeah,
I got around to it. My explaining was shit.
You cannot have the same.
That's all right.
You can't have the same serial number in either deck.
Yeah.
So with that we can now go into
fresh.
Now that people know it's a bit different to the locals, we can talk a bit more about like what we saw and what we watched, because you guys watched essentially both watched it, and I listened to it more and looked at the decks more. I think
what was interesting, mostly for me, and I think for everyone as well, was that on day 1, wasn't it best of 1? It wasn't. It wasn't best of 3 2-deck format.
Yeah, best of one in day one to get through the 53 players that were there.
And what they did was in the first half, I think rounds 1 to 4 or 1 to 3 was your first deck choice, and then rounds 4 to 7 or whatever was your second deck choice.
Okay.
So that's how they worked that. It was still best of one, but first few rounds were one deck choice. The second half of the rounds had to be the second deck choice, which makes for a very interesting sort of balance, I suppose.
A lot of good players got to top 8 as well. Like there's I feel like there might be a discussion to be had on like, are you bringing in a lot of variance by having that many players so that you have to do these best of ones, you know? Like, but it seemed to work out okay.
And it's super interesting as well because the two American competitors that got into Top Cut both shared the same decks.
Which is that's happened before, hasn't it?
So they both were on Chaos.
Like testing buddies, probably.
Yeah,
So
I think
like
they
KP
are. And Chris.
Where's Chris?
Chris L. He came third.
So literally second and third.
Yeah.
It's a bit like watching like a Formula One thing where the two Ferrari players are second and third.
Yeah, I was very impressed with KP. I was a little bit heartbroken for him not winning it. He played outstandingly, and Hara lost to him, went into lower bracket.
Yes,
and then came back to beat him.
That's the wonder of a double elimination.
Yeah.
Double elimination bracket.
Yeah, double elim as well. Like, what do we think of that? It feels strange for a TCG tournament.
I personally quite like it purely because, say you lose your first, in the initial bracket you lose, and it could have just been a couple of unfortunate misplays. And if you manage to work from the losers bracket all the way through to the end, you've probably retuned your brain and you earn your way back from those couple of misplays that cost you, and actually you were great. I think it's worth having that chance to pull yourself back up.
So if you've come from the lower bracket and then you make it to the grand final, don't you have to win an extra time versus the person who's in the winners bracket? I think that's the case.
People can tell us maybe.
So it seems like Hara had to not only beat the person that beat him, but he also had to do it more times, which is really impressive.
Yeah,
it seemed like Hara really big-brained that final.
He definitely, because his bracket wouldn't have started. Yeah, he would have had to have an extra game overall. I think Jono's looking for it as we go, but let's make that assumption until Jono cuts in and has a look.
So this is how the brackets went and the table went. So you can see that obviously these are the first games here, and then they jump down to the loser bracket.
Yeah, so he would have had an extra game.
Yeah, from this little playoff thing as well.
So yeah, they're looking at an image as well at the moment. But yeah, so if Hara's basically worked hard.
I mean, some of the moments I saw with Hara versus KP, or just Hara's gameplay in general, he was having those Ifrit S abilities on the stack.
Yes,
it's breaking the heart of the other players with just really nice plays, huge big brain moments.
I'm really happy and surprised all in the same breath that
deck,
that fire water monsters was got so far and did as well as it did.
How many people in our locals tried to make that work in Opus 23? At least 3 of us.
Yeah. I know,
and we were never feeling like it was there, right?
Yeah, I know that Richard rocked it. No. That was the deck that Richard ended on, and he really enjoyed playing Monster Box, the fire. Well, I say Monster Box, fire water with a little bit of a splash. But I'd say I definitely played it once or twice for fun and really enjoyed it, but just didn't go much further.
Because I was borrowing a lot of inspiration from Tori Kelly, and I think I was mentioning that on the last podcast, is that the Tori Kelly sort of decks, and it's a shame that he didn't do so well as well, but
I saw him knocked out.
I was rooting for him as well. But the monster build didn't seem too dissimilar from Hara's to what Tori Kelly had been playing previously. The most interesting thing for me was this set's Tidus. Yes. So the common Tidus, which reads, when he enters the field, choose one 4 cost or less, return it to their hand. When a character opponent controls is returned to their owner's hand, you draw 1 card. Yeah. And so that's mad.
That's what I love about this deck. It's just got a splash of a few different packages. The Sahagin that was our spoiler back in Opus 21, the Slice and Dice spoiler, he's running that. two of that.
Two.
And that's great against aggro, because you go Realm, Tross, Sahagin, draw. And if you draw into any of your Tidus, you're like, bounce, double draw. So he's got this like subtle, these like off-meta techs against against aggro and various plays. It's so nice to see like innovative deck win worlds.
Exactly.
I can't be more chuffed about that.
That's definitely a thing for me, because when I look at second and third, and this is to kind of cover what I feel will be a relatively like standard voice from people that I know about. Oh, 4-wall, 25 EXs, it's just bad, and then chaos. So you've got second and third basically both running those decks. Personally, don't see an issue with them, but I can understand it's nice to see
strong decks.
It's nice to see something a little different.
And it's crazy, like
it isn't those.
Yeah. I mean, who runs a monster deck with one blue worm? I mean, like I see it, but at the same time, and Bomb of the same set, the one that activates as a forward. Yeah. And when he enters, deals 5k.
He's running Brynhilda's in there, isn't he?
He's no.
I thought.
No, he's
his other deck.
He's only running some 2 levy summons.
I don't know if that's weird.
So 6 lev and cancel lev.
The fact he split cancel lev into one of his decks and Amat in the other deck. He really values that, doesn't he? Which is interesting, because I was playing mono water a lot recently, and I don't play my cancel lev that much. I just like hold it against earth and stuff.
Every time I warp Estinian, I got cancel leved by you, I think. My Estinian stayed in warp forever.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to do that, doesn't it?
I just imagine Estinian like a spaceman that just floats away with starfish. It's just Estinian
clinging to his lance desperately. Trying to swim through. Use his lance like a oar in space.
Get through space.
But we're all talking about Hara Wise list on, like, if you were to look on FFX Materia Hunter at the moment, the fire water one, and the reason, like Jono has pointed out, it's a bit different is any deck with like water and monsters generally has the Opus 15 blue worm at 3, mainly because Jono hates his phone, I think. But mainly because blue worm, because it draws 2, it costs 2 CP, and it draws a card when it draws it. It's essentially free, and it's a monster, it's a body, and so it's very bizarre to see a monster list that is water only playing 1 blue worm, which is a consistency card.
It really does.
Like, then I haven't seen a Quadav in ages.
Quadav was in my old list, and I liked it because obviously that really hurts cards like Zidane and opponents' Firians and stuff like that. It's a really
it's a very aggressive list,
interesting card to pick. But I used to play it in the warrior version, because I tried to meld together warriors and monsters, and fortunately it wasn't as consistent as I wanted it to be. But yeah, the Quadav came in clutch quite a few times when I played it, so I thought when I saw that, it was really nice to be able to go, oh, my pick is valid.
It's so nice, because you show this list to anyone pre-Worlds and be like, this will win Worlds.
No,
everyone will be laughing at you.
Exactly.
Like, why isn't it?
Sure, it could do okay in American meta, but no chance. But no, it's better. It's incredible.
What I thought was interesting, and this is just me going off like what I had thought of previously, but I understand why now, is that the backup Joseph Sapphire 3CP backup, which is EX, that searches for a job rebel and adds it to hand. I was wondering why he didn't pick, which I get now, but at the time I was wondering why I didn't pick up the new one, which plays. We could just play the Firian from deck, because the new one is 5 cost that searches for a job rebel, but plays it cost 2, and plays it to field. But you obviously just want the EX, I suppose.
This you don't mind seeing that turn 1 in your hand. The other Joseph is a bit of a brick in an opening hand.
Absolutely. You've got a big.
A lot of cards are like that, where players are like, seems really cool. They think about the best option, the best like situation for it, but they don't think of the flaw. Whereas that card has a great flaw and a good ceiling,
Yeah.
I think as a deck, it's as you said, Sam, like completely left field. Like you wouldn't see this in someone's locals and go, oh yeah, this is going to win Worlds. It's not something that could happen.
I just love the Tidus pick. Yeah, it's so
Tidus
good.
Is great.
So this like merge of like it's picking some little bit of strength from monsters bounce package, and then like just Clive is obviously good.
Technically, it's a mini 6 lev, isn't it? No, not 6 lev. It's a mini 9 lev, isn't it? Because it bounces and then draw a card and
It just says Tross 2.
Yeah,
Tidus just says Tross 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of crazy. But then we've seen, like, I mean, for example, we've got some regular things such as mono wind lists. They are a lot further down this time. You know, they're 4th and they're 6th and 5th. You know, Alex is still showing that Gigawall is relevant. Yep. Like, you know, Gigawall, and I've got that list built at the moment. It's definitely like, I mean, Clive just adds some, again, Clive.
I was about to say, yeah.
It's just Gigawall with Clive in it.
And that just blows it, really.
But the main thing Alex has done on that list is the backup line has changed quite a bit as well. It is now, so for example, it's got a heavy fire skew on the backup line. The humans are in there, the G deleters, rather than the crystal generators. So It makes me, I haven't watched Worlds in honesty. They make, you know, it's whether you get any abilities off of those later on, or if they are just, you'd rather have those than crystals. Because you're running 2 Cyan as well, so it did confuse me. I guess it is because the humans and the G deleters say they draw regardless of how many backups you have. Whereas the ones that do crystals are only if they're the first.
You can
first
happily run Cyan without crystals, though. He's still a board wipe.
He's just cheaper, isn't he? There.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other ones, the older ones that are 3 CP and draw a card, they're only if they're the 3rd backup or less, aren't they? I think.
Yeah.
So the humans and the G deleters are just like consistent, so they were really good. Yeah. I'm surprised there was no Larsa in this list because Larsa was always ran, but like again,
he was running a materia to fetch. He was running 3 materia to fetch Wall 7 in what event was it?
Euros. Yeah, and materia is not there.
So crazy, such a gamble. He clearly didn't like the gamble. It did. I think it did punish him and knock him out.
I mean, you need to make. I mean, he's running 2 Clive, 2 Ifrits. He's got 4 slots. He has to tidy up there as well. Which is very fair.
I guess maybe he feels like he doesn't need to search his Wall 7 as much with Clive in the deck because you can go back up, ditch hand for Clive, swing, draw 2. He'll get to his Wall 7 when he wants it.
Only running 2 Amat because you've got the Muti that searches, and then you've got your
Was it Hara that knocked him out? I think it was.
I can't remember. If I go back to the so we've got it's Hara that knocked him out.
Yeah.
Hara won.
I think that was a really interesting game. I do remember Alex kind of bricking a little bit in some situations. But I think it was really well played by Hara, and I think it was really interesting back and forth. I think Alex was high rolling one of the games and then low rolling the other, and really interesting stuff.
I think what's also interesting with the 7 wall, the 7 wall list is that with having only 2 Clives and 2 Ifrits, it obviously you want to pack it with all 7 wall hits as best as you can, but I think I've been feeling like if you're ever going to prime, you want to have like maxed out your priming into cards, because if you drew 2 Ifrits early game, I mean you kind of just playing it for the Clive now, aren't you?
You're really new to your 7 more hits though. So
I know that. Yeah, that's also my feeling as well. I don't know whether I would have dropped a Lena or something like that. You know
he's got a single Lena. I think it's only correct because you want to see Clive a little bit later as a board controller, or as like a look at me, I've got another big value card now. Do you really want to deal with Gigawall? Do you really want to deal with Tybus? Sure. And you can afford to play Clive or Ifrit without prime.
Is it 2 Ifrit?
2 Ifrit. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's a bit risky.
I think the thing is I think as well it's showing that he probably didn't play them with sequencing in mind. He was just like, you know what, if I only play the Clive, that's fine. Yeah. I don't play this with a view to prime it.
If it comes up, it comes up kind of attitude.
That makes a lot of sense.
If I lose both of my Clives, my game plan is now if I see an Ifrit, I make a situation and Ifrit clears the board.
Yeah, because
a deck with Wall 7 and Tybas, it's not lacking for power, is it?
No, of course.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was going to say because obviously 7 wall strictly is your go-to play on all counts really. Yeah. You want to get to that 7 wall as quickly as you can and get as many wall specials in your hand. You know, that's kind of the play really, isn't it?
Yeah, sad for Alex to not win it again, become the 3-time, but he did say, I think he said if anyone wants to take it, they should do it now. He said he seemed to be indicating that his attention wasn't as on FFTCG as it usually is.
Yeah, he's been playing a bit of Star Wars, hasn't he?
I think
he got married.
He got married.
I think he was just wanting. I think at some point, like you probably have to put a lot of time into Worlds if you want to take it really seriously. So at some point, maybe his wife or like the rest of his life might demand his attention.
I think that kind of shows in choosing the same decks as a year ago, because obviously it's mono wind and 7 wall. He won that with last year. So whether I haven't had a chance to speak to him, but whether that was a choice to make because of the not having much time, or he probably had time to practice, but it was very much like, I'm comfortable with these, maybe just go with these.
And I'm going to go out on a wild limb here and say I think Sevenwall has dropped out of S tier now, like, which is really funny for me to say because those were my 2 losses in Swiss in Cactimania.
Yeah.
But I hadn't really clocked how good Marlborough is against it at that point. So I just feel like a lot of tools, you know, like all the new tools we got aren't really Wall 7 tools, I would say.
No.
Yes, I'd say definitely
You've got Iron Giant, you know.
Especially if your tier list is encompassing the whole game and not just like my one tier, my one deck format locals / big event or whatever. Definitely in the broad spectrum, it's definitely fallen down a bit.
I think as well, to say that you've got 2 big chaos decks performing well and getting second and third.
Yeah, that's worrying.
Yeah, I mean, it does leave me thinking which one carried which, as in, did Raffia Control carry the games that were, that the chaos was lacking? Because I've seen that discussion before, where
I think they've got a nice 2 ends of the spectrum with those 2
absolutely,
decks.
I think chaos in the 2 deck format is designed just like we were saying earlier, describing how 2 deck works. Chaos stole the game you knew you would win. Like, I know my opponent's got this deck and maybe this deck is open deck format, open list, so you know what you're playing against. And it's designed to, like, both of these lists, from what I learned at Cardiff recently, they're both made like the one change. They're both running ciphers, but they are not running colour fix backups. They're both just running Ezel, Larsa, Chaos. And these are fast lists. These don't play tempo. Because some of the newer lists that I saw at Cardiff had micro decisions, and as well when I've seen Steve change, where it can play slower sometimes when it has to, when it's kind of biding its time to then mill and hit.
Yeah.
These, although they probably could if they were extremely lucky on the lightning cards they saw in hand, they don't have a way to fix.
You reminded me of one of the games I saw from Chris L. It was a chaos mirror, and his opponent played a backup. He just went in with the chaos immediately, hit exactly what he needed, and just murdered the hell out of the other one. It was disturbing to see.
And that's kind of what chaos just almost turns it into a 1 deck format of whatever chaos goes against, it's going to beat.
It feels like chaos is very much like it's silver bullets for quite a lot of decks. Yes. Like just has a like nice 80% win rate against a lot of slower decks.
Which is why I don't feel like it would have. I don't feel like it would have or could have won Cactimania, because it's an aggro deck trying to push its way through a room that on the other end of the spectrum has water players. Yeah, you know, like it's a tough thing.
Very true, very true. I think in that regards, like the chaos stuff coming from America, it feels like that's been heavily played over there and feels like it's been very well tested. And this goes back to the notion that each region has its own individual meta, which is obvious, but it has its own sort of like feeling, because we as the UK specifically have had very heavy water representation and stuff like that within a lot of the tournaments that we've been to. Mono Earth being another one, and obviously Mono Wind is huge, right? So
you see it about.
You see it, and you don't, when you're watching other nations, or not nations, regions streams and things like that, you don't necessarily see the sort of decks that we would favour over here as much as they favour over there. You know what I mean? It's very interesting, and I like that, to be fair, because that gives such a diverse worlds. You know.
I think even in the UK, like you go to different parts of England and like Scotland and Wales, and you get different metas.
Oh, absolutely,
because like anyone that came to where we were, it's like, do you know about Kieran? If not, like, here's Kieran. Like, like Kieran.
We'll bring our.
Like, I only gave up Gigawall because Kieran exists locally. When you go like anywhere else, they're like, no, Gigawall's great. I'm like, are you like Sid Randell exists? Like, Theodore just empties your hand, and they're like, what's that?
And especially like 1 or 2 sets ago, Kieran was a menace, wasn't it? Like, other players just were living without that.
As Sean's achieved his mission with me, like, I am petrified of any card in that deck. If you went against me, like if I went against Knights and all they played was Sin Randell, I'd be getting Kieran flashback to like this lion roar in my head. Like
I think as much as we love Sean, it did change the way that we played at Dice Cup a little bit.
For a little bit,
and that's not to say that like credit to him for putting us through our paces and making almost everyone rethink their plans.
Oh, he did. When I just beat Natasha at Huddersfield and she was on Kieran, I felt like I don't know, like I'd won my first race at school and I like was like over the finish line like blubbing like I fucking won. I'm so happy. And everyone else was like, this is just like a school a sprint at school fate, and I'm like, doesn't matter, this is the biggest moment to me.
Yeah, ultimate sack race win.
literally beating my demons.
You're literally running through the finish line and taking the tape with you as you carry on running.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's over. Like, I don't care. I've won all Final Fantasy TCG now.
But I definitely appreciate all the practice I've had against aggro at this point in my life. That Cactimania room.
It served you well.
If there could be no more, please, that would be nice.
It definitely served you well at Cactimania. I kept coming on stream. Now we're going to segue, I think, to unless you've got anything to say about Worlds again.
I think the only things we've missed on Worlds that are important just to highlight is other aggro decks that came in were Knights. Knights are still a very powerful deck. They were 5th and 8th. Did really well. We saw Ice Prime Ice. It was like mono ice with fire with Clive came 7th. And a PSA of UQ's fucking mono earth Hashmal tech. So he's running Opus 2 Hashmal, the bringer of order, that says name, which we mentioned last podcast because Sam's just a little bit of a spicy builder. And it says name one job or one element until the end of the turn. All of the forwards you control gain 1,000 power and a named job or element. So in this deck, you play in LB, you play Tenzen. And when you cast Hashmal, you say, I turn all of my forwards into samurais. Tenzen says, when Tenzen enters the field until the end of the turn, all job samurai forwards and card name samurai forwards you control gain 3k, brave, and can attack twice.
I'm just imagining Genova Synthesis putting a samurai helmet on.
like literally.
Kabuto.
Like little Leo, and you just give him a samurai helmet. He's like, oh yeah, look at me go. But yeah, so like that was just such a funny tech that does work. But yeah, there was a lot of variety at Worlds. It was definitely really fun to watch. But I think other than that, just wanted to acknowledge the decks we hadn't spoken about. But we've said everything there is to say.
Yeah,
I think, really.
So yeah, kind of like
really good tournament. It was
really nice to be able to see
the level of play so high.
Well, exactly.
I've got work to do.
It's a feast. It's a feast of the eyes when this is the first tournament, apart from obviously Cactimania, first tournament that is sort of visible in the new set as well. So we were able to go. Everyone's waiting for Worlds so that we can see what the biggest and most baddest deck with new set are. And to be fair, it's just splashing of Opus 24 in the decks rather than it's taken over a deck format. I think,
and it can still evolve.
Absolutely.
If you're going into Worlds, and what's the time frame they have? 2 months. Set dropping, going to Worlds. You've not got a lot of time to test new ideas, and you're not going to be motivated to test out their ideas when you've got such a limited time to put together something really solid.
I think
So I think it could evolve. I think it historically does, right?
I think as in UQ, I don't know his surname, Chinese guy came 7th, who had his second deck to the Hashmal deck. That was a very straight up new FF Opus 24 deck, because obviously there was the mono ice primes. So obviously that was off the back of that, but I think that's the only one.
But now let's go over to Champion Corner with Sam the Frost, or something, the Frost Tyson, which is completely
two surnames here.
For some reason. But let's talk about
that was boxing themed event, right?
Dun, dun, dun.
Fighting themed. Jackie Chan, Sam Frost. Anyway, sorry. Cactimania.
Talking about that, and the point which I was trying to make earlier was that you've taken Mono Water to a very what seemed like a very aggro situation, you know what I mean? Because you had every time I was checking you out on the Cactimania stream, it was like, oh, here's another chaos, or here's another it was like you had to beat chaos, you had to beat and 2 chaoses or 3 chaoses or something. I was just like, how many chaos?
It was such an aggro room. I'll try and my deck itself, I think it's quite a balanced water deck, and 90% credit goes to Zav, great player. It's his list, but I talked to him a lot. He gave me a lot of help before Euros. I'm sure I've talked about this at another episode, but he was like, oh, you can flex, you can have a Siren. I'm like, I definitely want Siren. Siren's one of my favourite cards, and it's insane in the mirror. And then there's Marlborough, right? I was like looking at this card, like this doesn't draw a card. This sucks. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Like it does -10, but it's so slow.
This card checks my privilege. I hate it.
It really does.
So Jono was trying to say I'll try it out, and I was like, nah, bro. But then when I got to Cactimania, like day one, like literally, I'd have my list without Marlborough on it.
You've written out.
Yeah. And then Sean appeared, and he was like talking about his testing, and he was like, oh, that Marlborough though, and he's like, oh, lose all the abilities as well, and I'm like, lose all the abilities, huh? And and then like he was really high on it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna miss out if I don't include this. So I asked around the room. There's a player on Mono Water lent me one. His name's Sam. It's actually the guy I faced in the grand final.
Yeah.
He lent
Beat him with his own cardboard.
he lent me his Marlborough. Luckily, Marlborough doesn't do that much in the mirror. I don't know. It could have. But yeah, a really crazy tournament. And yeah, the deck, I think the deck's very balanced. I felt favoured in the mirror in the end. I was worried, but yeah, I think Zav's really built that deck to, have a chance against aggro and have a good chance against control. I think it's really balanced, which is like amazing. And the deck really carried me. But yeah, my matchups were like 2 7 walls, chaos, mono fire tried to aggro me. I don't know why. Like, I think another line of play would have been better.
I love that. I don't know why it would do that. Does it know who I am?
Like he played the Takatsugu. Went for that play and like Zidane and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I didn't try to react to Zidane. I could have Kukulaned it. I'm like, I'm not going down hand size. You have a look,
I want to draw more. Zidane's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't help you put things in the bin, but it's still like I think Water's just really nice against cards like that.
Yeah.
The deck carried me really hard. So yeah, we had the two wall 7 mono fire, an FF13 deck.
Interesting.
And then what was the last one of the other games was Knights.
Yeah.
So the Knights guy who got top 8, his only loss in day 1 was to me.
Yeah.
And then I actually had to face him in top 8, and then I beat him 2-0 in.
Because literally that was all the streams I saw. Was you against aggro.
And like it's crazy because like that was really good for me because I got practice against chaos from Phil.
Yeah.
In the Airbnb, I was getting loads of help with my matchups. I've got loads of practice against Knights from Alfie at locals. So like it's just the room was just like given to me as like, here's good matches for you. And I could have probably won the Wall 7 games if I'd have realised Marlborough's so good. Like I'd have a better chance. Anyway. Yeah. But they were both good players. You had Connor and McAvoy.
Yes.
So they I think they did pretty well.
And we had Sam Griffiths and I can't remember the other chap's name, but we had 2 other
Alex,
Chaos
I think.
and Alex on Chaos, which their builds, as John and Sam will know, but Chaos kind of changed. So we were just saying in the Worlds chat that they were both like pretty standard Chaos builds, but they were running Cypher. But the main thing is the Worlds builds were both running just water backups. But in Alex's and Sam's build and another build from Steve that I'd seen, all of them were running some form of lightning backup. So I saw Reeves and I saw Alizé's. Alizé is crazy because it takes a card without the multiplay symbol
from the break zone.
From the break zone, like recursion that the deck sorely needs.
And you get the same card name.
It's you pick. Pick a card that
pick it then search.
Yeah, pick a card in the break zone that doesn't have the multiple symbol on it and search for the same name card.
But the amount.
So in a deck where you play 20 card name Chaos and your main card is Chaos, that's kind of insane.
Yeah, and then just like having that one lightning CP just makes all the difference for that color fixing, as we know. So if you've got, and that's where my list fell short because I was playing the like cookie cutter carve through the room list. I don't care what colors I have kind of list. But that was me.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about me, Jesus.
Honestly, though, I think you say don't talk about you, but I think it's a nice sort of reflection, I suppose. When I say reflection, I mean like you've gone through something that is a bit triggering, but also at the same time you've walked away going, I feel a bit refreshed.
Well, it's kind of nice because like you won the event, and I bet like if I saw the standings, well, I would not be surprised if I was almost last or like the last, I don't know, 5 players. And we genuinely both walked away from that event having said that's a good event. I had loads of fun. So you don't have to win an event to have fun.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, like at the spoons at like 11 o'clock at night with like Christina Aguilera in my ear, I was a bit overloaded when I lost to the first round of Cube, but like genuinely had fun. And the deconstruction I had, I've actually spoke to a few people and they've said, you know what, you've actually rationally thought about why you lost so badly, and sounds like it was a good event. That's losing wise.
Yeah.
But when Paul came up to me and was like, I thought you were bringing your best, and I'm like, I'm trying. God, I deserved that. Jesus. No, it was fine. Paul was just trying to like make some friendly banter, and he's like, oh, I thought you bought chaos. You're trying to win. I'm like, I'm really trying.
I think unfortunately you walked into like a room where there were players sick of chaos and players refining chaos.
Yeah.
And you were just there like enjoying chaos in a.
And I should have just took warriors and come middle of the room and be happy, you know. Instead I took chaos with the thought that how dare I win a game.
But I think there is a thing to be said though, like when you say you go in with an intent to do well. And you have an expectation that you build. We were talking about this before. You build up your expectations, and sadly, when something doesn't, I've done this so many times. Where sadly, if it doesn't work out or it doesn't feel like it's moving the way that you want, you kick yourself and you go, "What have I done? You know, like what am I doing this for? Why am I putting myself through this much pain?" I've been there. Not saying that you felt like that, but I'm just saying I've been there.
Oh, we've all been there.
And it's just like, well. We play card games for fun. We need to remind ourselves that actually we're not here to really shine. You know what I mean? Like in terms of that regard, you have to sit back and kind of like
always remind yourself you're playing for fun, and like you're like nearly 2 years into your.
Just flashing back to the Airbnb.
Yeah.
Sam we were all a bit tipsy, and I was having a practice game with James Duff, and Sam's like, "You've only been playing this game for like 6 months," and I'm like, "Huh?" And then I was like, I think I went over the other end. I was like, "Oh, it's been 2 years," and you checked that. I was like, "Okay, it's like I don't know, a year and 10 months or something like that."
Being specific.
But yeah, that was a short glimpse of me going, Sam's drunk and I like this is funny.
Also, my perception of time is awful.
But yeah, like it's all of that thing of like, not played it for that long, blah blah blah. But I just realised I literally chose an aggro glass cannon deck in thinking I could just blindside people that also know aggro glass cannon deck. So it's fine. But
those like double turbo aggro games are crazy too, right? Because you're like, wait, I'm the aggressor, and then they go faster than you, and you're like, what the?
Well, five. How many get no? Five. How many rounds were there? Round 6. So it wasn't 5. Sorry, it was 4. 4 out of 6 games. I mill Fujin Raijin, swing, and my Raijin is killed on damage by an Odin. 4 games.
That's so unfortunate,
like 4 games, and I just sat there.
You were taking the Odins that I was hallucinating. I was so like, oh, I don't want to swing.
So I went up against someone who was like, oh, I've not played in like a year, but I've got this list that's like fire, lightning, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I saw like some scions put down, and admittedly, and I think I got a little bit like, okay, I feel okay here. And they were reading all of my cards, and I got a little, and so I think I deserved this loss just due to my slightly inwards attitude.
You can never underestimate any opponent.
And then literally they were I don't know what I can fucking do. Don't know what I can do. Just swing all your cards. Just beat me. First fucking card, Odin, Raijin's dead. I'm just like, great. I can't remember when it's like, look, guys, you've upset the baby. Like I just sat there like, like ruined my time.
It is,
that's also a thing to remember. Yeah, RNG is a huge factor.
Yeah, exactly. So I need to put fate back in my own hands a little bit. So we will do.
Take control.
But
to be honest with you, the fact that you were able to, or coming back to see you, Sam, we were able to like read that situation and with going against chaos and stuff like that, and you can't complain when a deck is out to sort of like smash your face, and you're kind of like, well, I need to flood my deck with some EXs just for that sake, because really, that I think I've said this before, but EXs, I don't know why, everyone's thought about them more since, say, like Knights and stuff like that, more aggro, because we had aggro before, but no one's going, I need to flood my deck with EXs. as a game plan of protection.
Yeah, and it's a balance, right? You like, okay, if I go to 30 or more EXs, my card quality starts going down a lot. Mm-hmm. But then my early game against aggro goes up, and there's that balance. But then you get some decks like 4-wall where like they kind of get both, you know, like they what? How many X's do they get?
Like 20.
It's 50% minimum.
Yeah, and their card quality is still insane. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
But like with mono water, it's like I think it's 15ish in my deck.
Yeah, and that's about right.
And they're all really good EXs. You know, Ash obviously doesn't hit in those aggro games so much, but besides that, Luna Freya just completely insane.
And Cuchulainn as well.
Yeah. Just like most of the EXs draw, so or they, you know, bouncing is insane, you know.
In a chaos match, you know, Cuchulainn, is the one that, you know, is nice to be able to turn off the Raijin.
The amount of Raijins I switched off that tournament is probably double figures.
That was another one I got lost. Oh god! So I was playing against Earth Water summoners with like Palom and Rydia and Galuf and stuff.
Yeah.
And turn one, the guy's like, I don't come from around here. Like he knows somebody nearby or something, and I recognised him. Really lovely guy. And I did my turn 1 big board and he went, what the fuck is this? Like, I know of this, but I've not really come up against the scope of it before. And we had about 20 minutes left on the round and he couldn't find it. I passed to him with lethal on board if my board survived. And he was just like, I just let him play it out. He said, I lost my first game. My first game went to time. Yeah. So I'm going to try and play faster. He took about over 10 minutes, must have been over 10 minutes on one turn. And I was like, you know what? I've got lethal here. It doesn't matter how close to time this gets. I'm just going to let him think.
Yeah.
He plays a card, takes it back immediately, Cuchulainn's my chaos, which does nothing, draws into the Earth CP to Shantotto my board. And he said, I didn't have a way out until I figured out I could do that. And I was like, I hate my life. Just hate my life.
That's horrible.
Like, the deck gave him the out, and I was like, you know what? Kudos to you. You took like 10 minutes and you found the answer. Like, you earned your win.
Savage.
But you had there was a nice little bit of diversity other than the aggro stuff. You had James McNulty on his Fire Earth Warriors.
That deck.
Such a cool deck. You had Steve on Wind, and then you had the double Water, and then you had the double Chaos. Am I missing anybody? I don't think I am.
That Airbnb made the tournament for us, though, didn't it? That was such a good Airbnb.
Oh yeah, I mean, Andy wanting to start fires. Literally, his odd is a fireplace. Has anybody got copper wire? I'm like, I'm going to kill you. Please stop speaking.
There was like some great memes about copper wire.
And I'm just like, please stop. And then we're sitting there like, and I'm like in despair at the end of the first day because I've lost so badly. And Andy's like, I could really go for a fire right now. I'm going to get some copper wire from Tool Station, which is next door to the fucking Firestorm. And I'm like, oh, stop. So Andy, stop.
Honestly, shout out to Steve D, Andy, Duff Man, and James McNulty. They made it so fun, so nice. Like the testing was essential. Like, yeah, I wouldn't have got there without them, and it's so fun as well. So nice.
Yeah. But is there anything else you want to say about Cactimania? We've kind of, although we've said you won it, here were the decks.
Yeah.
You've done some summary.
Top 8 was great. You know, like beat Chaos best of 3. Sam Griffiths. Again, these players were good. They were holding the door open to me, make one misplay, and they could have, you know, slammed a game. But luckily, it just held my nerve. Then into Knights, which was the first game of that was like crazy back and forth. Thought I'd lost it at one point. He had Laswell down, and he was dull freezing all sorts. Came back into it. Like I didn't hit loads of EXs, but I hit enough in the tournament. Yeah. Like I had like that Thornton in the like. Against Chaos, like Thornton's just completely cracked. It's such an old card, and yet it didn't come into a lot of use until like recently, a couple of sets ago.
And again, this is where I'm hedging on back to the EX thing because you back then you didn't want to see a Thornton in hand. Like it
felt so slow.
It felt so slow, and it's search any card, which is bonkers, right? Yeah. But at the same time, like because it's an EX, you see it played a lot more because of aggro. Yeah. And
I think there's something really interesting happening there because the 5-drop search any card felt really slow in the past, but now we've got cards that are so broken that you make the tempo back up because you get your best card in the deck.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, you know, say I get my Clive, and then that's so cheap that it feels like I've recouped the value because I've just done havoc to the board.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. I think with water and mono water that Thornton became quite a staple as well for finding your Lenners when you needed to, and when you
can't run the deck without it.
Exactly, or like say your 9 lev to throw in bin, for that reason.
Yeah, so much utility, so consistent, just a crazy deck.
It is, because also being such a high costed card as Thornton is, you're safe. You probably want to play it off 1 backup so that you can discard 2 for, and maybe 1 being 9 lev, to be able to bulk up your break zone.
So I was thinking 9 lev. One of our vocal warm ups was just imagining like Sahagin Chief is German for some reason.
Sahagin.
Great.
So yeah, it was really nice to be able to see the intricacies. And to be fair, I've seen you play Mono Water countless times, and I don't think I've ever played. I haven't played much against you with Mono Water, to be fair. But I've seen you play it a lot, and to see the games that you played and being able to analyze from afar, on stream, watching you from afar.
Yeah.
As I said in chat, my lads were having a Christmas display show, doing drama and acting, and I was just like, I was filming, and I was filming them, but I had in the
Twitch minimized.
The Twitch minimized in the corner. I was just like, I can hold this pose whilst watching.
So I don't know, you're like playing like a character dies, and you're like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Everyone's looking across
ruined it.
The snowflakes are dancing. What are you doing?
I just really like snowflakes. Sorry.
Yeah, it was good. And so able to watch and see how you played. It was like, oh, that was good. Proud moments, and I was like, shit.
I appreciate it. I loved all the support I had in chat. It was so nice. Such a nice community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and Sam Jackson on commentary, like he's always been like just a lovely person, and having him like pretty much cheering me on Jacko.
Yeah, he's still in our group chat. Because he used to come to
and he's insane. I've always looked up to him.
He said he likes the podcast and listened to it too. I gave him a sticker.
He said it keeps him going on his runs. Like amazing.
Nice.
So shout out to him. He's like absolute gem of the community.
I feel like I need to be like, if I know that he's running right now, I want to be just like, don't trip.
Wow.
I don't know. It's not like some subliminal thing.
Slice and gaslight.
I feel like I've got power. I can be like, you're really thirsty. I don't know why. Just
shout out to him for the commentary, and obviously being head judge whilst in commentary seat as well.
And he made some calls, and I've like researched them, and like it seems like he was correct. Like his game knowledge is cracked. He can easily be like a high level judge in this country. No problem if he needed to.
Yeah, Jacko, please school me, as Alfie would say.
Come back to Knots to go through some learn to plays with experienced players.
Oh, we need to run some tourneys, don't we?
Yeah.
But so last game, then the grand final. Me and
Water Off.
Sam P. Sam F?
B.
Yeah, I'm Sam F. It's so confusing.
Sam in the like internal mirror.
Am I playing myself?
You went through all the letters to find your own.
He was a lovely guy. Like, I'm so happy that I got such a nice player against me. He could have, he won the first game when I just completely, at the game in hand, made one mistake and then just went on full tilt. I threw the first game so hard, and he could we started playing fast on the second game. And he could have slowed down and messed with me and done anything but he just played. He just wanted to see the games out. He wanted to play. He was just such a clean competitor.
It definitely seemed like he was trying to go too fast. He could have controlled the game a bit better. It seemed
he went really aggressive. He
was throwing cards down, and I was going, "Whoa! You don't, you know what you're playing against, right?" But kudos to him, because what did I hear? Someone must have told me that he's only been playing for 6 months.
Yeah. So him and the other guy on Knights in Top Cut, they're from another bit of Wales, Bridgend. And they're both. I think they're both from a Magic background. They played other TCGs.
Isn't that a new Firestorm game?
Yes, it's another Firestorm branch.
Yeah. So
kudos.
They have the TCG. You know what these Magic players are like. They just come in and they're cracked.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was such a lovely opponent, and it's kind of funny because for a grand final we made a lot of misplays, but also I think we created a lot of drama. I don't know if there's been many grand finals that are as dramatic as that. Like,
I think so. I think it's been.
I'd lost my mind by the end of it. I completely lost touch with reality. When I had to bounce that realm back to my hand to play my Witch of the Fens, I was like, my brain was just. Like, everything was on fire. I was like, I had no short-term memory left. I can't believe I came out with the win.
I was just
didn't feel real.
I was thinking about 10 minutes ago, I was like, your mental stamina has really improved, but clearly...
I lost my mind by the end there.
It is funny, because I remember coming back to the stream every now and again, and it was just, I could just see you like put stuff down, then take it back up, and then put something else down, putting it back up, and you're like, what's been played here? Because I'm playing it on mute, so I can't hear the commentary or know what's going on.
But then that was like earlier on, I think it was near the start of game 2 or the end of game 1, where like there was a Kukulkan like on the board for like 10 minutes trying to resolve
my god, game 1 had the Giga like mono water stack where we both had my 9 levels on board, his came down. Did we both have Sirens or I don't know? It was insane.
Yeah.
We both had Sahagin Chiefs, and then we both had Kukulkans. And it was just, and I should have. So on that big stack, I should have cracked my Sahagin Chief, and then just everything would have got blown up. But I was ahead on backups, and this is one of the reasons I should have comfortably won that best of 3 was that I was running my 14 backups.
Yeah.
And he was running 11.
Ooh, that's pretty.
He was really tuned for aggro games.
Blimey, yeah.
But most of those games, I'm just storming ahead on backups, and that's in the mirror. That's huge because Tidus is mad in the mirror.
Absolutely, yeah.
You had a good time, and you won. Oh god.
Yeah. But instead I had fucking meltdowns and misplays. But we won anyway, so fucking let's go.
So you got to choose your prizing, so you chose a sealed box of Opus 11, which is Moolah. You then got your box of Opus 24, which Jono bought and opened, which is nice, because you got some nice cards.
Yeah, we were planning to do it on podcast, but obviously you were like, no ASMR sort of crinkly papers on podcast.
It would have been mad crinkly, like even far away.
I would have done it just for French, like my fingernails like on it, like... Just going to open my collectible rectangles. Hey, French. Bonus burst. we love French.
That's just for you, man.
But yeah, so you got that. You won those, and we had. I think we'll skip rares because of time. But Steve D won the rares with ice.
Oh my god, he always just makes when a new format. Anyone suggests a new format, Steve's like, here's an insane deck for it. He's so strong at that.
Pavlov commits war crimes. That's just about it.
Best deck builder in the UK, probably.
But do we want to, because we're looking at time, more because we've got stuff to do, not because we don't want to stop podcast, but do we want to move on to a little fun thing?
Yeah.
Do a fun thing. So we're going to do Guess the Card because we forgot last time. And Jono...
Is that what we want to shoehorn in?
Sure, we can do. We can
change the. I'm changing the order. Sorry,
let's break up the
heavy thing.
I'm happy with that.
Heavy thing with the fun thing. Yeah, sorry.
Guessed the card last time, didn't we? Which was a hindsight thing when we were looking back and going, "Fuck, we said we were going to do this thing, and we didn't."
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to try and make sure that it's every episode, just for the fun breakup of it, and see if you guys can guess along at home. As Phil is going to be the one who has the card this time.
Yeah, I feel like we do need to make like a segment song for this. I need to make it happen.
Yeah, what was it?
I don't know. But...
No,
we did that last time. It got copyright stroke on YouTube, so maybe not. But no, we'll find something or make one, or if someone's a musician who can do it. So I've got a card on the screen. So you have got 21 questions to guess what it is. And I'll tell you if the question's busted, but it probably won't be. So it's fine.
Well, I know my first question. My jammy question.
We've been talking.
Okay, go on then. Jammy strats.
Is the card of the elements earth, water, lightning, or dark?
No.
None of those. Okay.
Okay. So that's one question with 4 elements out.
Yeah.
So can you remember what those elements are?
Earth, water, lightning, dark.
Yeah. Earth, water,
so
lightning,
dark.
So it's either ice, wind, fire, or light.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Your question.
Right. Now we go through the 4. Is it in...
You can split it.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's split it.
But the light is less likely.
God.
Yeah, the light is less likely. Is it in earth or fire?
No, and one of those is already asked. So it is not in. So it is not in fire.
Oh, no,
it is not in. It is not in fire either.
Not in fire.
It is not in earth, water, lightning.
Earth,
dark.
water, lightning, fire, dark.
Yeah, it's not in any of those.
So what's remaining?
So ice and
wind.
Stupid that I thought. Fucking hell.
Is it a wind card?
Yes, it is a wind card.
Hey!
Okay, so we have a wind card.
And we're 3 questions in.
Is the cost of the card 3 CP or lower?
It is 3 CP or lower.
Good question. Is the card a forward?
It is not a forward.
Ooh.
Okay. Is the card a... Is the card a backup?
It is not a backup.
Okay.
So it's either a summon or a monster.
And
is the card a summon?
It is a summon.
3 CP wind summon, alright.
3 CP or less.
Oh, that's wind summon, okay.
So...
Shall I go again, or you got one? I've got a good one.
Okay, go on.
Is it an EX?
It is an EX.
Do we have money? Okay, so...
There's quite a few.
There is quite a few. My brain's going... Plop, plop.
And I've gone curveball because you guys wouldn't think I choose wind. It's nice.
I have another good question.
Okay,
Do I just keep firing?
Keep going, Sam, if you got
I don't want to keep because I'm
No.
Is it a 1 cost?
It is a 1 CP.
Oh,
okay.
I can think of a few.
Okay.
Sylph Pandemonium,
Chocobo.
Chocobo,
Chocomog.
Chocomog,
The new one, the Wing Wraith.
Wing Wraith.
Sylph Pandemonium, Chocomog. Which one would you like to go for first?
You could be sneaky.
I thought you were asking me then. I was like,
sneaky here and think what's in common with these cards, or like a common theme amongst two of them.
Oh, that would be interesting. Okay, so does the card have... Oh, actually, you got Alexander as well.
Stormy card, yeah.
Yeah. Does the card draw you cards?
I mean, it's a 1 CP Windy X, probably.
it does not.
Okay.
It could be... Oh, Pandemonium doesn't.
Doesn't, no.
Sylph doesn't.
Sylph doesn't. Wing Wraith doesn't. Because Wing Wraith searches for another card, Wing Wraith.
Is it an Opus 24 card?
It is.
Oh, it's got to be...
It's Wing Wraith.
Right?
Is it Wing Wraith?
It is Wing Wraith.
Let's go.
Got it in 11.
Nice.
Oh, we're going to have to make this game harder, aren't we?
Yeah, it just came to my head because it was like a card that Steve kept on going on about, like being cracked.
Especially within Mono Wind, because like the amount of times you're able to spend one, cast it, especially with Belgamy as well.
Yeah.
So who should we lock in for next time? Let's do it now so remember which one of you. So who said is it Wing Wraith?
I'll go.
So Jono will be next. So you are you are the next person next time.
I'll have a good month to think about it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool. So what have we got next?
So me and Phil, we said we went to Grantham, didn't we?
Suppose we did, yeah.
Suppose we did. Yeah, we did something. We went down to Pendulum Gaming, which shout out to them for hosting such a wholesome event, really, to get some new players into the scene, because they are a fairly new store. They've only been around for since April, I think, March, April, and being that they are sort of semi close to us, comparatively. Those guys down from Loughborough, so French and Mike, they travel a similar distance of a 45-minute journey. It doesn't feel like it's too much of a stretch to us, for any of us to go down.
It's just the A52 really for us. It's
so
it's not A52, but it feels like it.
Yeah, and I would say that, with being a Slice and Dice thing, that I like to bring in everyone who's in the East Midlands into the fold, especially.
But it's nice. The main it's nice we're spreading our wings a little bit, because it was Tim Dowse that put the post on Facebook.
Yeah.
And Tim Dowse, I think, has family or something in Grantham, but he's also in rugby for some reason. So he's also a part of the rugby group that French is helping out at the moment at the Scrum.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice that we've now got 2 new communities where there are Slice and Dice people that are helping grow, which is quite cool.
It's cool seeing our little group do that, isn't it? Like we're pushing out to try and grow the game, and also after Cactimania, I was thinking about like roster competitively.
Oh god,
I was thinking about like like headshots with our like stats.
Sam, you don't want your head to get too much bigger.
I was just thinking about that thing. It was like, oh look, a strawberry, and it gets worse. And Sam's the first one, and I'm at the end. I'm just like,
Hey, we've got great players at Nottingham. I remember Sean, even when he was in his Rampare era, he was like getting to the finals of some of the tournaments.
But he's in his Slay Girl era. He's in his Rampare era. You Rampare girl.
And he's gonna love that.
you break your backups, girl.
He's gonna love that reference. But yeah, with having some new interest in our game, I was definitely in my element because I don't know if most people that know me will say that I have always advocated for getting people into this game and making sure that this game's heard, because the meme of FF is a TCG, or Final Fantasy has a TCG is one of those things that I still want to like promote. I want everyone to go, oh my god, FF has a TCG.
Or insert, I wish Queen's Blood from Rebirth had a TCG. You just go, stop that. We have a perfectly good game.
Everyone look this way. And so, it was nice to be able to speak to some of the store managers, owners, and then also some quite... some people who dropped out of Magic the Gathering and stuff like that to be able to come over and have a bit of a chat and stuff like that. So it was really nice. We had about 7-8 people.
Nine.
So
we had 8 players. We had 8 players and one person who only wanted to watch but was interested the next time she comes on. On your table.
That's right.
But we had quite a good variety, and it's kind of, again, we've done sort of PSAs a few times for like people that maybe don't demo the game or have newbies, but I saw an increase, and this is more, I guess, the serious thing. I saw another event with more than 3 people who were instantly like, what's the meta pick? How do I pick the biggest, baddest thing and win? And it's like, the new thing I said to myself this time when I had that reflection was, they'll just find out on their own that is not like, it's not like, if I let's say I quit FF and went to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'd never played it before, that would probably be correct, because everyone at locals would be playing meta picks that finish the game in a turn. Yeah. But in FF, like, generally speaking, you don't need to worry about that. Your first, 6 months are going to be mega pleasant, and you're going to, have people teaching you, or they'll play something nice for you, or whatever. And so I sort of, there's no way you can step somebody down that wants to, go, I want to pick the uber big pick. And it's like, okay, you just kind of let them, help them with, I think you just have to help them with their pick and let them figure it out on their own.
I think that's true, because obviously you can give them a deck that has seen on the world's list. You can go, all right, let's say Raffia Control is more what you're wanting, so let's give you the Raffia Control. But I think the fun thing about it is that when you start playing the deck, you see the nuances, you see the actual ways of actually playing it, and it might not even be the deck for you. So you can go, here's a world's list, and you say you want to play control. Well, this is probably one of the most controlling, and mono water. Here's the most controlling decks. You see which one fits you the most, but also that actually playstyle might not fit you within this game sometimes. I found that aggro players from other games, it might not translate as much into this game for some.
We did have somebody brand new who was like, I want to play one game, but really I'm here to trade, and that was kind of different. That he only came to learn to play to trade, but I entertained it and helped him trade. He knew all his card prices and things, and did a trade with him, which was super fun. He was a bit paralysed. He didn't think he could afford a lot of my cards, and I was like, you genuinely can. So it was a nice testament that the game is cheap.
Definitely.
Which is quite nice. Did that with a few people later on, actually.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because one of the guys that came sort of later into the evening, he came and said, I haven't played since, say, Opus 2 or 3. Yeah, and I was just like, okay, so you know that there's power creep, right? And he's like, yeah. And obviously completely understood. And the funny thing was, when I was playing against the guy that I was demoing with, and this, Opus 2, Opus 3 player just was watching, I swing into this guy, he hits Opus 1 Odin.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's shit. And then I swing the next one, and he gets Opus 23 Odin. And I was like, oh shit. So two things break, but also I was able to turn to this guy and go, here's power creep. It's like, here's 7 CP Odin that breaks a thing. Here's 9 CP Odin, which technically, if you take out 6 cards, if you remove 6 cards, it becomes 3 CP break a thing. I'm like, that's
But it shows that Opus 1 is still relevant. But massive shout out to Lyndon as well. Lyndon basically, so what I'd organised beforehand, I'd sort of spoken to Jono and Lyndon, said, hey, because we're going to be demoing to about like 10 people max, let's make like these decks and try and it was too much prep. It was like way over the top. But luckily, you give Lyndon a task like that and he can just like hyper focus and make like 12.5 million decks. And he had every deck with a label on it in a clear deck box. So it was like we just turned up and picked a deck that we demoed with and it was fine. So Lyndon, so cool. And Lyndon donated some promos as well. We did some, and the store were, and this was another interesting thing, the store were very like, oh my god, how do we do organised play? And I don't mind saying, I'll take the flak for saying it. They were like, we don't know who to contact at Hobby Japan. We don't know who to contact at Square Enix. Where's all the support? And I'm like, in a polite way, lower your expectations. And it's okay to like just log on to the port with your own email, run an event. There's no need to click the official button. That's not a thing. Chill. Like, just speak to your distributor and that's totally cool. That's about what you need to do. Yeah. And they were a bit like, oh, right, shit, okay. So and that's again a recurring theme I've seen where they've got this expectation from other TCGs that they've got loads to do, but they don't in a nice way.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah, this TCG for all intents and purposes is very easy to access, despite the fact that it hasn't got the marketing and that we would want it to have. So, viewership and so being able to see the game out there. But at the same time, when you do get into it, it's very easy to get into. Affordability, as you said, and then obviously for stores, it's just like you said, Asmodee, really.
And well, even like for software and stuff. So this will be, although this is like it was my big gripe like 12 months ago. I can't remember the order, but basically the lowest, there's grade 1, 2, and 3 events, and the lowest tier out of them, you do not have to. It says that it's your locals basically. If it's that tier of event, I think it's grade 1, because it's the first one that comes up in the policy doc. You do not have to use the portal, and tiebreakers do not matter. Like, you do not measure damage. You can just use like Yu-Gi-Oh! Swiss software and say win, loss. You can use Magic software. You don't have to report damage and do tiebreakers, which although is a bit, like for me personally, a bit funny because damage is a part of the game and you're incentivized to take damage. At least stores can just run it with what they have. So
it doesn't necessarily prepare you for, say, going into a like you say, grade 2 tournament, grade 3 tournament, where they are using the software and the damage breakers and stuff like that.
Because there'll be results that you get used to it, locals winning, and then you just don't.
You would want to know the full outcome on a regular basis to try and prepare you for bigger events. So understanding like what the official software does for you in your own favors in terms of tiebreakers and stuff like that makes perfect sense to me that store should run something similar.
But once again, learn to play events work. They're running another event, Pendulum Gaming, in Grantham on the 29th, and they've already got like a keen small player base of people.
That's right.
And they seem to be sharing it with like this rugby lot, and then they've got us in the middle, and they've been super mindful of us and don't want to clash with us, which seems kind of cute. So
that's great.
So hopefully we get like another community.
Any other stores that are obviously around, and if they're in the East Midlands within decent travel time, I'm sure we'll probably move towards them as well.
Just make sure Jono gets vegan pizza and it'll be fun.
Don't. I'm going to be the odd one out and everyone's going to go, vegans. All of those.
But no, I think the Scrum were saying they might be wanting a demo, but they said they'd leave that to the new year, and they've got French anyway, so rather like someone else does it and whatnot. But that was pretty fun. I enjoyed demoing. But I don't think there was much more on that. It was just fun variety of games with new people. Oh no, I did have the misconception, and the person might listen to the podcast bit, and no, it'd be fine. But like I think I said to you on the way back, somebody had a misconception that I've never seen before, and I don't know how they got to that misconception. So I guess it's important to point out. So I let him play. We played his deck open-handed without anything to go with, just like let's go through CP payment. And then you tell me how you'd play this card, and then what would you do next turn? They're like, I guess I'd do the 2 CP, then the 3 CP. Really simple stuff. Then I just started putting out like a forward at a time against him, and then 2 forwards because he was playing mono fire. And I heard him out loud say, he went, well, Jecht has the number 6 on, so he's 6 CP. So in order to attack, I need to find 6 fire cards. And I went, what? And I didn't do that reaction, but I sort of said, attacking is free. And he went, I haven't attacked for like the last 4 turns because I thought I had to pay the cost on the card. And I just very plainly said, I said, the cost on the card is how much it costs to play it onto the field.
Yeah.
We've never discussed that's also for attacking. And he went, oh, well, yeah, damn. And I was like, I've never had that misconception. But
I don't know what other card game that could be pulled from, though.
No, me either. So I think it was just. I think it must have just been if I be diplomatic and take it on me, I might have spoke really quickly, and he just kind of made an assumption or misunderstanding or something.
It could come from anywhere, that kind of thing.
If anyone knows any card games where you have to pay to attack, just let us know, because that'll be interesting. Because I've never heard of that concept.
But he was super happy once I told him that. He went, "Oh my god, I can just like attack and win." I'm like, "Correct. This is the good cush."
That's the end. So it was really nice, really well. It brought a smile to my face going home. So yeah, thank you guys for whoever turned up and whoever's listening to this. So yeah, we've got obviously we're going into a new year, and the fact that we have Opus 25 coming in March. We've got a big gap between Christmas and a new set coming out, and whenever Winter Cup decides to show its face, if we ever do get Winter Cup coming in the
rumor
new year.
mill going around. I mean, it was even said at the end of like Cactimania, somebody was like, "It's definitely not on this date." So like, I think early February was a date that was being coughed out by people at Cactimania. So
yeah,
but I may have also found So, but it'll be announced. I'm very sure. Very sure we'll get an announcement.
So now Worlds is done. I think we can just like fun formats.
Yeah.
Just like crazy good fun times.
Heroes only. Only legends.
You're not still fighting.
Let's look at those backup lineups.
No, I can't think of anything worse. I'm with you that like, although I played commons and rares, and although I didn't play in the rares event, I prefer commons because it's more consistent backups and the forwards aren't as fast.
Yeah.
Rares is just neutered down meta. Because it's just as powerful now that it's got primes. I think rares would have been so much funner before this event for me personally, because
before Opus 24.
Opus 24, because Opus 24 is now just every card is big boom bang card, and it's very cool.
And also it includes LB decks as well, which is another thing that you have to pay attention.
I definitely always wanted to do. I want to do like a no LB tournament one day, but that's just because not because I don't like LB, but because just like when LB came out and when priming KP, people were like, "Oh no, the game's gone back to shit." I'm like, fine, we'll have an event where there's no LB and no prime or whatever, and see if you still see how you feel.
I think
it could be interesting.
Well, there are many people who are like, "Oh, the game is ruined by."
A few people that were very vocal about like the releasing of LB cards.
Was this on the internet?
Oh yeah, definitely on the internet. Yes, there were one or two other locals, but they were very quickly happy when they played their first card. And people on the internet that were also unhappy were also seemingly happy at the next event I saw them at, But I still think it's fun for people to like have a retrospect, look back and go, okay, what was it like? How do I build without knowing I have LB Leo in my deck? And like, how do I build mono win without LB Leo because I now don't bother putting the Sky Pirates in? Although that's pretty easy, but
I definitely think they've kind of taken it in an interesting step with multi-elements as well for the LB as well. Like
finally,
because obviously multi-elements were around for quite a while, but then to bring them into the LB side of things, I find that those choices making it much more limiting, much more like you have to have those precise colours in your deck to be able to play them. Made it super interesting, I think, as well.
I really enjoyed those cards.
Yeah.
Like Ultima Weapon, really nice. That Iron Giant looks really good in
Fire Ice. Well, it'd be interesting to see, because I actually haven't played it yet, so it'll be interesting to see. Also, it fits well in, seeing as it's Fire Ice, fitting in with Axstar being a 3 cost. So, it's...
That big Vag, that's really good.
Big Vag. Run, Phil. It's the Big Vag.
It's like the belly gonna get you advert. Like early noughties. No, I can't. No.
God, I can't.
I'm not gonna sleep now.
Sorry, traumatized. So
good set of LEs. This
definitely. Sure. So we've got a good break, good tournament break. Yeah. On that very lovely note,
so we can grow the scene. We can play. I just saw a format in Magic, by the way. Team draft.
Team draft.
I was going to say Sharpie Cube. I was like, let's fucking go.
That's too silly.
No, because I want Agrius to be like, look at your opponent, like, dirty word here, kick them in the face, whatever it says, you know? I love those cards in Sharpie Cube.
One day we'll do FFTCG Sharpie Cube.
Thank you, Sam.
But actually exciting gameplay wise. Team draft.
Okay, explain.
4v or 3v3 team draft, and you draft. You alternate the players on the drafting table.
Oh, okay.
And then you play a 3v3 game. You know, where it's like a best of three between three of us. So and then it's like you're silent when you're drafting, or you don't discuss your cards. Then once you've got your pool of cards, you can team up with your mates to be like, oh no, we should build it this way, we should build it this way. And then when you're playing, you can discuss amongst each other your plays.
Yeah, that'll be.
I like that.
I love team games.
Yeah. Team Commons was good at the Winter Cup last time.
Oh yeah, it was so good.
Oh, so good. That was like the hype.
Still probably my best TCG memory. So
Yeah, honestly, it was. I was like there to help. I was just like third person, but I was like, yeah.
No, you did well.
My friends are doing so well. I still just intensely remember sitting next to you in that final game, just watching Sam, knowing that not a word I say could help. I was like, so I thought if I intensely focus, maybe it'll help.
Yeah, and the sending energy.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the hilarious thing is that I've been behind Sam trying to say and coach certain moves before, and he's told me to shut up because he's like, you're not helping.
Sam, you said firm boundaries.
I was in the same energy and the same boat as you, going, come on, Sam, you can do this, buddy, without saying it.
Don't make me bring up my trauma from your coaching.
It can't be trauma. It's getting a bit over the top.
I am being hyperbolic with that one. Just to let everyone know.
But it's been one hell of a year, and if we're looking back from Winter Cup last year to Winter Cup, well, this point of where Winter Cup would be this year, it's been a fucking awesome year.
Yeah, and it's been amazing.
We've done a full year of this podcast, and I'm very, very pleased that we're sat here still going and still enjoying it. Yeah. So here's to another year, man.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And
so
it keeps on running next year as well, which is going to be fun. So the one thing we've mentioned quite a bit, like off mic with each other, is we've definitely got scope to do like an event at Dice Cup with like some cool prize support for more people than our locals.
Yep.
So if you live in Scotland, you live in Wales, you live in London, you live somewhere in the UK, because if you travel abroad, then thanks, but like it's a lot of effort. I feel really feel bad. But if you are like, hey, I'd travel to Slice&Dice where they are at Dice Cup, we would be interested what kind of thing you travel for. Obviously, we're not going to be like big mega bucks, but we've definitely got some extra prizing we could give out and things
we might have a box or something.
Yeah, might have a box. Maybe you really travel for like some custom sleeves. Maybe you travel for like a mat. It'd be cool to know what would make that difference for you, and if it like, would you want a side event? Would you want like a vendor? Because I definitely can get a vendor. Like it's stuff like that.
We can definitely put something together, because we have done winner boxes on a weekend before.
Yeah,
and they definitely showed some good support coming from Scotland and from
London. Yorkshire lads.
Yorkshire lads come
Yorkshire,
down.
Leeds. So let us know what kind of event you'd like travel for, even if it was just like an hour or two out of your way, like just to spend a Saturday for probably, I don't know, about 4 or 5 rounds, probably, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But then non TCG wise, we have got, for those of you that in the Final Fantasy sphere, we've got Distant Worlds. I don't think either of you two have been to a Distant Worlds.
No.
So I'm sort of inducting both of you. Like, I know you are going to cry like a baby.
Pointing at me, yeah.
So Jono's going to cry like a baby. So I can't remember when, it's very early next year, there is a new Distant Worlds concert for Final Fantasy. So if you've not already got your ticket, I suggest it. Mainly because specifically this one is mostly Final Fantasy 14 and 16. I think there are going to be other songs. They do a set list like prior, so you get to know. Cool. But it's the London Philharmonic Orchestra, and always has been when it's in London. And it is just like Final Fantasy music, huge orchestra. You literally feel like the reverb in your body, and it's just like
I've been to many a concert. I went to one for Assassin's Creed, which was really cool, and I've been to one for Nightmare Before Christmas and Tim Burton and Planet Earth. I mean, all those sorts of things where you just have a massive orchestra in front of you. Just you can feel the vibrations, like you say, and feel the emotion. So there may be a tear or two. I have no idea. We'll see what happens.
I've cried at 2 of them, so it's fine. Okay. So Not Alone from Final Fantasy 9. It has a really beautiful clarinet opening, and then in like the big solemn like second choruses where it goes to key change. It has violin, and I can't contain. I just sob. Like,
I mean,
delightful.
Being a hardcore Final Fantasy nerd, it's one of those things where like the music is the thing that drives you through the game. Like it brings
the music's unbelievably good.
It's crazy.
So at Final Fantasy 14 Fan Fest last year, there's a song called "Close in the Distance" that's played at, and it's not a spoiler. It's more because I won't say why, but it's called "Close in the Distance," and it's played at the end of the Endwalker expansion, and it is basically like once you've played that expansion, it's like an anthem for anyone that's played the game. And literally, you could turn around and everyone was in the same emotional state singing that song. Like, my throat hurt. Everyone was like red-eyed, like holding hands with the person next to them.
Didn't even know that.
Like, all of the people that were like shaking their glow sticks were now like not able to hold their arms in the air. And I saw the song again live like the next day in a different arena because they were doing a little like tour around FanFest. And I didn't have the energy to like cry at it there. I was like, no, I've done this already. Because it's sung by, I can't remember the artist's name, but I call him Cowboy Dad because he has a cowboy hat on. And I'm just like, I love you, Cowboy Dad. So yeah, definitely like if you want to like, and a lot of people do meetups and stuff at Distant Worlds and like see their friends and Final Fantasy communities. So definitely like look it up and get some tickets if you can.
And if anyone if anyone is going, then in March, then hit us up and we'll come and see if we can meet up with you and say hi. So yeah. I hope everyone has an awesome Christmas, if that's what you celebrate, or, festive season, or I think someone was a bit triggered by saying festive season at one point, so we'll say holiday. So I hope everyone has a great time, and we'll definitely be seeing you in the new year. So thank you very much for everyone tuning in and sticking with us for as long as you have, and hopefully we'll get some content back up on YouTube, Phil.
Wow.
So we've done some games, but we've obviously got to make sure that we're sorting it out.
Thank
you everyone for listening. Really appreciate you, and thanks everyone who runs events in the country. Shout out to the Cactuars for running their event.
Yes,
really made December primo.
Yes, exactly. So thank you guys.
All the TOs, all the judges. There's a lot of not very thankful work that makes a big difference in the community. So really send love to those guys.
Sam's
and lovely players too.
Yeah, Sam's definitely thanking you for winning that belt. So lovely guys. Thanks very much again. So hope to see you in the new year. Take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.